LME is suspending trading in its nickel contract after the price doubled amid a short squeeze. CNBC's Rosanna Lockwood joins us right now with more. And Rosanna, this is really weird stuff. You don't see things like this happening very often ever.
Yeah, it's funny, Becky and Joe, actually, you're talking about crypto there. I've heard some people saying this morning that traders should have piled into nickel rather than Bitcoin over the last few months. Some people have made a lot of money in the last few days. This was before, of course, the London Metal Exchange suspended trading in its benchmark 3-month nickel contract in the last few hours. Now, I can't really overemphasize how historic this is. The London Metal Exchange is the last open outcry trading floor here in London. The drama on the floor must have been intense this morning. When you had it suspended, nickel soared above $100,000 per tonne. It then sank back to $80,000 per tonne before the suspension came in. I want to take you through the statement from the LME we've had this morning. They say the steps taken on the open outcry trading floor and the electronic systems are just intended to maintain market orderliness while ensuring liquidity continues to be made available, and emphasising this in case nearby carries should evolve in this situation. Now, they are talking here that this could be a multi-day closure as well for the nickel contract because of the way the geopolitical situation is unfolding in Ukraine. So traders are on call for that, and they're also going to consider whether trades booked prior to the suspension should be subject to reversal or adjustment. Now, what we're talking about here, you mentioned that short squeeze. A lot of people are saying it's about covering these shorts that were there in these contracts. We've been warned throughout, leading up to this intensifying of the conflict in Ukraine, about Russia's role in the nickel market. Russia is the world's largest exporter of nickel, some 10% of the world's nickel, in fact. I've seen some sources saying it's 17% of the world's top-grade nickel. And why does it matter? It's a huge component part in electric vehicle batteries. I don't need to tell the viewers why that's important at the moment. But Nornickel, a Russian company, it's the biggest supplier of battery-grade nickel at around 15 to 20% of the world's supply. That's according to a JP Morgan analyst. So when you take all that into account, and then the situation regarding Western sanctions and how they're being applied to Russia and how this is going to disrupt the export of nickel supplies, it's no surprise that we've really seen the price shoot up. But I think big questions will be directed to the London Metal Exchange this morning. It's often called the sort of market of last resort for metals, and I've heard plenty of traders here in London this morning saying that intervention should have been taken yesterday when nickel closed up 66%. What were they doing before then? Why did they allow the market to open this morning to see prices shoot up to records never seen before in a 145-year history? And something else I want to add as well, when we're talking about covering these short trades, but also margin payment issues, the LME, this is according to reporting, has given a unit of China's largest lender more time to make payments on margins because, you know, there is going to be a massive squeeze on those margins as well, guys.
Yeah, Rosanna, look, this is a situation where you hear about getting caught in a short squeeze. Nobody feels sorry for you if you get caught in a short squeeze. It's a very tricky thing to do. But this is a situation where they closed it because they are worried about the brokers being put out of business, like it happened back in 1985 with 10 brokers. It's a situation where they don't want to see all of those brokers get taken down and then have nowhere to trade any of these things, too. It's probably important to point that out, that this is not doing something to protect the short sellers. This is doing something to try and protect the institutions so you don't see a complete washout.
Absolutely. Really important historical context. Thanks, Becky. And like you said there, the knock-on effects that could have to the wider markets as well, and making sure those brokers do stay in business. And it's worth mentioning that that China unit I mentioned is one of the brokers on the floor of the LME. So, yeah, it would have been quite something to be there this morning.